Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask, Learn, Grow, the show where the Reef team answer questions and share updates and insights from the digital marketing industry. I'm joined with Maggie today. Maggie's one of our performance media specialists here at Reef, and we're going to be talking about LinkedIn advertising. So Maggie, over to you. Do you want to introduce the topic that you're going to be talking about?
So LinkedIn advertising works really well. It's a very niche platform if you do want to use it for advertising. And there are a few best practices that you need to know to ensure that when you do advertise on LinkedIn, it works really well. So one of the first steps is to ensure that you have a really good budget. So generally, you want to have around $3,000 to $5,000 a month in order to gather enough data so that you can see significant conversion rates.
Yeah, the budget's definitely important because you need the data. You need to be able to reach enough people in order to obviously achieve the objective, and then also use the data to optimize and ensure that you are reaching the right people to improve the campaign. Okay, great. So can you share any best practices that would be good for people to know or follow when running LinkedIn campaigns?
Yeah. So one of the first best practices is to uncheck audience expansion immediately when selecting your targeting for a new campaign. This is to ensure that we don't target relevant audiences and are only targeting the audiences we have selected. This is also a good way to really make sure you're using that budget well without reaching irrelevant people. Another best practice is to continuously test ads and experiment with new ad copy so that ads remain fresh, especially if the target audience is small. You don't want to let the same ad copies run for too long, so having a consistent schedule for rotating ads is a really good best practice.
Great, and good to know. I'll just add in a little bit more on the audience expansion that you mentioned as well. What we've found on quite a few occasions is that the audience expansion box, when ticking that, it's not yielding stronger performance. And like you said, Maggie, it's quite possibly down to reaching people that aren't quite as targeted or relevant as the audience that you've actually specified. So good tip. Okay, cool. So is there like a step-by-step process that you go through when creating a campaign? Do you want to talk to us a little bit more about campaign creation?
Yeah, so the first step when creating a campaign is to select your objective. So different objectives that you can have for your campaign is awareness, consideration, or conversions. Essentially, this is your campaign goal. The second step would be to select your audiences, your location targeting, as well as your language. And once you've created an audience, so you can save it so that you can use it again for a campaign in the future. The third step would be to choose whether you want to target by company, demographics, education, job experience, and interest. It's best practice to target at least 3 or 4 of these different audiences, and you don't want the audience targeting to get too specific and too narrow. Fourthly, select an ad format based on your campaign objectives. And you also want to ensure that you're setting up a budget and as well as a schedule. So you want to be able to set up a daily budget as well as a total budget for the campaign so that you don't overspend. You can also select an end date, or you can also let your campaign run continuously. Lastly, you want to select a bid type. So there are 4 bid types: automated, target CPC, max CPC, and max CPM. The automated bid type is recommended as you'll select a bid based on your budget to get the most impressions.
Okay, and let's shift gears into conversions then. So obviously, in order for the algorithm to optimize towards conversions as part of if that's your bid strategy or your objective, you need to know, or you need to tell it what conversions are. So how would you go about setting up conversion tracking? Have you got any tips to share in that area?
So the best way to set up conversion tracking in LinkedIn advertising is to have redundant systems tracking conversions. So essentially this is having multiple conversion tracking systems set up, both native and GTM, so that if something technical occurs on the site or on LinkedIn, there will be another source to continue tracking conversion data. That way you don't lose any of your data.
Okay, thanks Maggie for sharing all that wonderful advice and insights to do with LinkedIn. Definitely can be a valuable platform for the right type of business or brand who has specific audience targeting requirements. Okay, great. That kind of wraps up today's call. So if you've got any questions, as always, send them in and we're always happy to help. If you'd like to see us answer a question or cover a topic in a future video, again, feel free to send those in and we'll see what we can do. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be notified of when the next video is available. Apart from that, thanks all for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.